Hey, it's Marc, and this is Alter Ego Comics TV for the week of April 14th, 2021. It's New Comic Book Day, and I'm here with my recommendations that you should check out at your local comic shop. First up, Batman ScoobyDoo Mysteries. This has been done a couple different times. ScoobyDoo Team Up, I think, was the most recent series that did this, and did this very well. ScoobyDoo Team Up is an amazing series if you're into kind of that classic 80s cartoon throwback type of story, or if you want to see Scooby-Doo and the gang team up with various DC Universe heroes. But Batman Scooby-Doo Mysteries is a 12-issue limited series, and it's just fun. It's fun. You remember when comics used to be fun? And comics are still fun. Don't misinterpret me. They're just a lot of times very dark and very serious, and it's mostly because we want them that way, but there's definitely folks out there that want comics to be lighthearted and fun and still see their favorite superheroes and characters, and you're going to get that in Batman Scooby-Doo Mysteries issue number 1. Then a couple nice things about this: it's only $3, so perfect for the young reader in your life, but more importantly, it's going to be fun for you if you want to read it too. Maybe not more importantly. Either way. If you like Batman, if you like Scooby-Doo, if you like mysteries, if you like fun comics, that one's for you. And speaking of fun comics, let's go with Challenge of the Super Sons, issue number 1, 7-issue miniseries by Peter Tomasi, and amazing artwork by Max Raynor. I don't want to jump ahead on that, but Max Raynor, Peter Tomasi, Challenge of the Super Sons. Again, Super Sons have been around for a while. We get the son of Batman, Damian Wayne, a.k.a. Robin, and the son of Clark Kent and Lois Lane, a.k.a. John Kent, Superboy. And it's another fun one. This is the book that made me chuckle the most this week. A great new adventure for Damian and John to go on. And I wish more people were reading the Super Sons books. They traditionally don't sell super well for Super Sons, but they're just so. This team is so good together, and Peter Tomasi just does an amazing job writing both of these characters. Highly recommend this one too. My pick of the week is Lock and Key Sandman. Although it does not say Lock and Key Sandman anywhere on the cover here. It says Sandman Universe Lock and Key. This is I'm not sure how many issues, but it is issue 1 of a multi-part miniseries crossover between IDW's Lock and Key universe and DC Comics Sandman universe. I will admit, I have read very little Sandman. I've read none of the original Neil Gaiman Sandman, but this made me want to go back and finally take the plunge into Sandman. I have read all of Lock and Key, and I love it and highly recommend it. And the driving force behind this is the creative team behind Lock and Key, Joe Hill writing and Gabriel Rodriguez on artwork. It is so good. Highly recommend this one. Even if you have no familiarity with either of the franchises, I think it's accessible enough for you to get into it. Or if you are only familiar with one or the other, you'll be able to still enjoy it. I didn't realize how important the previous Lock and Key miniseries would be to this, after I just said you don't have to have any knowledge of what came before. You really don't. But if you read In Pale Battalions Go, the most recent Lock and Key miniseries, you'll find lots of stuff to enjoy in this. So my pick of the week is Lock and Key Sandman, Hell and Gone, issue number 1. My wife Angie's pick of the week is Phantom on the Scan by Cullen Bunn and Marc Torres. I read this as well, and I did enjoy it. But I was sitting next to her while she was reading this, and there were several parts where she was saying out loud, like, wait, what? What's going on? Who? And then she got it. But this is about a group of psychics that are not connected when the story begins, but they are connected by the time the story ends, and something is out to get them. and Cullen Bunn, who is the master of horror and suspense, one of the masters of horror and suspense these days in comics, does a stellar job creating characters that we have an interest in, as well as a menace, a threatening story that will keep us coming back for more. So Phantom on the Scan is published by Aftershock Comics. It's my wife Angie's pick of the week. I enjoyed it as well. A solid contender for pick of the week is Jules Verne's Lighthouse, issue number 1, written by David Hine and Brian Haberlin, stunning artwork by Brian Haberlin. This is a giant book. I mean, you can't really tell looking at this, but it is an oversized first issue. Lots of solid sci-fi in here, and it's a great week for sci-fi and fantasy between Sandman, Phantom on the Scan, Lighthouse. There's other stuff out this week too that falls into that category, but definitely recommend checking out Lighthouse. Again, this is based on a Jules Verne concept or story. I haven't really done my homework to find out which is the answer, but engaging characters right off the bat, an interesting premise, gorgeous artwork by Haberlin. Solid stuff. And if you've read anything else by this team of David Hine and Brian Haberlin, then you kind of know what to expect. But I recommend it. Lighthouse. Especially if you're a big sci-fi fan. What else do we have? Was really looking forward to this one and was not disappointed. SpiderMan, Spider's Shadow. And if you look up in the corner, there's a surprise that none of us were really aware of. It says, What If? So What If returns to Marvel, but not as single standalone issues, as miniseries. So this is a 5-issue miniseries, I believe. Could be 4 issues. I'm thinking 5. And Chip Zdarsky is back writing a Spider-Man story, a What If Spider-Man story. What if the alien symbiote stayed bonded to Peter Parker? And we get artwork by Pascal Ferry. Just a great story. Again, we know Zdarsky can write. We know he has an affinity for Marvel characters. So why wouldn't you pick this up? If you're a Spider-Man fan, you absolutely want to check it out. If you're a Venom fan, you probably want to check it out too. We get guest appearances by other members of the Marvel Universe, and this is only issue 1. And again, What If is back. Home issue number 1 is out from Image Comics. And this is a very timely story about immigrant refugees and camps and separating children from parents. And then there's some superpowers. So it's a little bit X-Men-y, which is good, but also very timely as well. And I think comics have always done a really good job of reflecting what's going on in the real world. And Home is definitely a comic that is being published at the right time. So I recommend it. It's by Julio Anta and artworks by Anna Wiesnick. I can't even try. Anna Wiesnick. I can't do it. I'm sorry. But check it out, especially if you're it's an emotional one, but there are superpowers that show up, and I think if you're an X-Men fan, this is kind of a no-brainer. We get an oversized reprint from Days Gone By. I want to say this was originally published by DC. We get Star Trek The Next Generation, The Gift. This is a facsimile edition, so this is an exact reprint of this story that was actually written by Q himself, John Delancey, the actor who plays the character Q. We get some additional dialogue by Michael Jan Friedman, and Gordon Purcell is the penciler. When was this originally published? Eyes don't fail me now. This may not even be it. I thought it had to be in the Indicia, but I don't see it. I believe this was published when DC was doing Star Trek The Next Generation comics, and the timing is perfect since we just found out last week that it appears that Q will be part of Picard Season 2 on Paramount+. So if you want to read a classic Picard Q Next Generation story in its original glory, pick up The Gift. I didn't read this, but I just want to bring it to everyone's attention. I should say all of you that are Darkhawk fans. Darkhawk, Heart of the Hawk, is a one-shot celebrating 30 years of the character of Darkhawk. So if Darkhawk is your guy, don't miss this one. And last but not least, on the single issue front, we get a new Batman miniseries written by Tom Taylor with artwork by Andy Kubert. Batman the Detective, a 6-issue miniseries that finds Batman in London. I see London, I see France, I see Batman's underpants. I crack myself up. Anyway, I enjoyed it. It's a Batman miniseries. It's written by one of the best writers in the biz with amazing artwork by one of the a legend in the biz, Andy Kubert. If that's your jam, check it out. And I think that there's some loose connections to Batman history in here. But if you're looking for a new Tom Taylor Batman miniseries with a lot of action and intrigue taking place in England, this is for you. And the last thing I want to bring up is for you G.I. Joe fans. We have the complete collection of IDW's recent G.I. Joe series, G.I. Joe World on Fire. This is written by Paul Aller. I think it's Paul. Yes, Paul Allor. Artwork by several different people. But it collects the whole series, G.I. Joe 1 through 10 and G.I. Joe Castle Fall. So you get the whole kit and caboodle of the most recent G.I. Joe series for $30 from IDW. It is a ginormous graphic novel, and if you are a fan of G.I. Joe or looking forward to the upcoming Snake Eyes movie, here you go. Check it out. Another incredibly awesome week for new comics, and I hope that you will go out and support your local comic shop, pick up some cool stuff, talk to the staff, ask for recommendations, and if you don't have a local comic shop, you can always go online and find us, and we'll help you. We're happy to. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, click the like button, give us a thumbs up there, and make sure to subscribe so that you know every time a new video goes live. I appreciate your time, and I hope you have a fantastic week.